Imagine collapsing during a marathon, not from dehydration, but from drinking too much. This isn't a rare anomaly. It's a serious, often misunderstood condition called exercise-associated hyponatremia, EAHE. For decades, a powerful message has dominated sports. Drink, drink, drink. But what if that advice, fueled by commercial interests, has put countless athletes at risk? In 1981, a 46-year-old woman collapsed during South Africa's Comrades Marathon. She was comatose, her blood sodium dangerously low. Doctors initially treated her for dehydration, but her condition worsened. The true diagnosis was exercise-associated hyponatremic encephalopathy, EAHE, a severe form of water intoxication. This was one of the first documented cases, revealing a critical flaw in the prevailing understanding of hydration during exercise. By 1985, researchers published a paper titled Water Intoxication, a Possible Complication During Endurance Exercise. They concluded that overhydration, not dehydration, was the cause of hyponatremia in athletes. This was a groundbreaking insight. The following year, 2 doctors independently reported developing EAHE during an ultra-marathon. They had been advised to drink excessively, consuming over 20 liters of fluid. Their experience confirmed that overdrinking was the culprit. Crucially, early cases showed that standard saline treatment was ineffective. However, hypertonic saline rapidly improved conditions, highlighting the need for specific, correct medical intervention. EAHE became increasingly common in the Comrades Marathon. A 1988 study conclusively proved that fluid overload caused the condition. Researchers found that affected athletes had consumed abnormally large fluid volumes. Their sodium losses were not higher than other runners, confirming that excessive drinking, not salt depletion, was the primary issue. Despite this clear evidence, the scientific community's initial findings were largely ignored. The researchers expected these definitive findings to be universally embraced. They believed preventive actions would quickly eliminate EAHE. This, unfortunately, was not the case. A New Zealand research team, with limited funding and no sports drink industry support, took up the challenge. They studied hundreds of athletes, confirming the link between weight gain from overdrinking and low sodium levels. They conducted the first controlled clinical trial, advising athletes not to overdrink and restricting fluid availability. This simple intervention dramatically reduced EAHE cases requiring hospital admission. There was no increase in dehydration. Their lab studies further showed that overdrinking alone could cause hyponatremia, regardless of any pre-existing biological predisposition. The evidence was mounting. Overhydration was the real danger. Around 1990, the U.S. military adopted new drinking guidelines to prevent heat illness. Soldiers were mandated to drink 1.8 liters per hour in hot conditions. The result? A dramatic increase in EAHE cases and even deaths. Alarmed, the military revised its guidelines in 1998, setting upper limits on fluid intake. The incidence of hyponatremia immediately fell. This was a clear, real-world demonstration of the dangers of overdrinking. In stark contrast, the American College of Sports Medicine, ACSM, heavily sponsored by Gatorade, released guidelines in 1996 promoting drinking as much as tolerable. This was linked to an extensive marketing campaign by the sports drink industry. The sports drink industry promoted a novel model of thermoregulation. This model, championed by Gatorade's inventor, Dr. Robert Cade, suggested dehydration impaired cardiovascular function, leading to heat stroke. Therefore, constant fluid intake was essential. However, this model had no logical physiological basis. Sweating is regulated independently of blood flow, and sweat rates are maintained even with significant fluid loss. The body simply regulates temperature at a slightly higher point. Paradoxically, a study showing no serious consequences for athletes who didn't drink for 2 hours in heat was used by ACSM to justify drinking as much as tolerable. This logic was perverse, driven by commercial interests rather than sound science. The first reported death from EAHE occurred in 1993. More followed, including several female marathon runners who were incorrectly treated with isotonic saline. This ineffective treatment, known since 1985, contributed to their tragic outcomes. A pivotal moment came with the 2002 Boston Marathon, where a runner died from EAHE. This tragedy spurred a definitive study by Harvard Medical School researchers. Published in the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine, it confirmed the high prevalence of EAHE. The study found that 13% of Boston Marathon finishers had some degree of hyponatremia, with many serious cases. It unequivocally linked substantial weight gain from overdrinking to hyponatremia. This study, unlike previous ones, finally broke through the industry-driven narrative. The scientific evidence for EAHE being caused by overdrinking was clear for decades, so why the delay in acceptance? Part of the reason was the sheer power of the sports drink industry's marketing. Their message, drink more, perform better, prevent heat illness, was pervasive. The scientific counter-message that drinking too much could be dangerous struggled to be heard against this commercial juggernaut. It took tragic public deaths to finally create a tipping point and expose the concealed truth. This history serves as a powerful reminder: scientific truth, especially when it conflicts with powerful commercial interests, can take a long time to be universally accepted. Always question the source of health advice, especially when it comes from those with a financial stake. Don't fall victim to outdated or commercially driven hydration advice. Listen to your body and drink to thirst, especially during endurance exercise. Share this vital information with your friends, family, and fellow athletes. Educate yourself and others about the real dangers of overhydration. Visit reputable medical and sports science websites for evidence-based hydration guidelines. Your health and safety depend on it.